It's 2026 and the month of love already. I cannot believe how much year we've seen in the last couple of weeks. It is like we have come in hot charging the mountain in 2026, and I'm here for all of it. The one thing that I want to share with you guys today is I practice daily written reflection and gratitude. I want to talk to you about gratitude, the practice of gratitude, and what that can do for you in 2026. I know that life can get really hairy. It does for a lot of us. And that when things are flying at you at the speed of naught, it's super hard sometimes to remain grounded and to actively look for the things that are blessings and things that you are to be grateful for in your life. And so I've got a little discipline with Lily, and it's something I've shared with some of my closest friends, and they've started practicing it. And it is it's so simple, but it is so effective in helping us remain calibrated for gratitude and the practice of gratitude. And so before I get into, I'm going to show you guys now, but before I get into that, I want to explain to you why it's so important, or at least why I feel the practice of gratitude is so important. And go and ask Chat, Grok, whomever, go Google it, go do any amount of research, and you'll quickly see that from a neurological point of view, from a physiological point of view, the practice of gratitude is not only healthy for our bodies, but it is incredibly powerful in shaping our minds and so shaping the lives that we live. There is so much science-backed evidence that you don't have to take my word for it, but I'm going to share from my personal experience. I have, just like so many of you, walked a very interesting journey. There have been times of great need. There have been times of great conflict. There have been times of massive disconnect, severance of identity, fill in the gap, okay? One of the two things that have kept me grounded. Number one, practicing gratitude. Number two, actively looking for ways to serve other people. But that's a whole other episode, right? I believe at a cellular level that when we are outward focused and we look for ways to serve other people and straighten their crowns, it's super hard to stay in the darkness and in the depression and in that heaviness, because we're not thinking about ourselves or our problems. And so that's a whole other episode, right? I've said that. Practicing gratitude has been such an incredible blessing for me for two reasons. Number one, looking for things to be grateful for and the miracles that God works in my life, from little ones to big ones, right? Reframes and rewires my brain and my heart and my spirit to expect and look for things to be grateful for and miracles in my life. It is such a slight little change, is such a slight little recalibration. But when we are consciously noting the things that we are grateful for and those moments of miracles and blessing and provision in our lives, and we're marking that occasion, right? It is almost like we are rewiring our brains to expect more and to look more for it. And before long, your entire body shifts and you start walking in this expectation of things to be grateful for and miracles that'll be working out in your life. And so that's number one. It helps change your posture, the way that we move through life, right? From being absolutely aware of the things, the lack or the need or the conflict or fill in the gap, because that what you focus on, you become, right? What you behold, you become. That's a biblical statement. So when you behold problems, your posture takes on the one that seeks problems and identifies problems. And I'm not saying be naive about it, because life is still life, right? Remember, I'm a single mom, single income household, run my own business. I'm not an employee. I don't have that safety. So it's not like I'm living in this rose-tinted universe where everything is perfect. But can I tell you that because of this principle, because of this practice, and because it's so embedded in my DNA, I am walking in the awe and wonder of what my Creator does from a provision and a protection point of view. And because I'm actively marking those moments and those occasions, my entire being is focused on seeing and expecting more of that. And so more of that finds me. Just put faith in the gap and try it. Okay, so the other side to that coin is when we're actively looking for things to be grateful for, and we mark those moments in the pit experience, in those seasons of lack, in those seasons of ambiguity, in those seasons of despair, in those seasons of illness, right? We have something tangible to look back on. In the Old Testament, they used to erect altars of remembrance every time there was a supernatural encounter with God, or there was a miracle that God performed. They built altars to remember that moment. And so, because we as human beings have such, call me Dory, we have such short-term memory when it comes to the good things that have happened. And it's almost like we just innately or by default come to expect bad. And if we reprogram ourselves and we come to expect good, and we mark those, we put up those little altars, when we suffer from short-term memory or long-term memory loss, right, we have something tangible to dip back into, to go, no, when I look in the rearview mirror of my life, here is evidence of the goodness of God. Here is evidence of the fulfillment of his promise. Here is evidence of his supernatural provision. Here is a confirmation of a word he spoke over me, X, Y, Z. So this confusion the enemy is trying to sow, remove yourself, right? And so I'm going to share it with you. Lily and I call it our little miracle jar. And sorry, I just got a call, so I was like, did we pause? No. So Lily and I call it our miracle jar. And guys, this thing usually takes a whole year to fill. So we fill this up with miracles and supernatural provision and protection and deep blessings and things that we're just grateful for God doing in our lives, right? So we take the year and we fill this thing up, and that on the 31st of December, we sit and we prayerfully go through all of these incredible blessings that we've received throughout our life, or throughout our year, and then we thank God for that. And then we put the empty little miracle jar back onto I have it in my office at the moment because the miracles here have been insane. So, and we put it back on the table, expectant for the next year. And so I just want to show you guys, it is the first week in Feb, and can you see how full our jar is already? These are all Lily's. She marks hers so that so that she knows at the end of the year. But look at that. Look at these. So what happens, guys, is number one, I honor God when I take a minute to write down that thing, whether it is an encouraging word a friend spoke to me in a really bad season of my life, right? Whether it is absolute supernatural provision, whether it is a confirmation of a word that I've received, because a lot of the time we're praying through things, we want direction from God, we want to know where to go. And then we receive confirmation, we make that decision, we leap, we take that leap of faith. And then the enemy comes and tries to sow confusion. Like, was that real? And so what I often do is, when I am walking in a season where I'm feeling a little bit disconnected, or I can sense that I'm not necessarily feeling grateful, or I am worried about provision, or I'm worried about protection, I have a bank, an entire repository of truth, of evidence, of the goodness of God. And I guarantee you, I have not once in a pit experience started working through my blessings and then gotten to the end without my cup and my heart filled, ready to be God's warrior, having bawled out my eyes. And I want to gift you with this practice. There is something so special about erecting these little altars of remembrance. And I say that like such a Dutch, excuse me, but these little altars of remembrance every time we taste and see of the goodness of God, and then being able to access that when our vision gets a little bit cloudy, And at the end of the year, where we get to celebrate, God has said this year, 10 will not be enough. 10 of these jars will not be enough. That's what he promises us this year, right? By order of magnitude greater are we going to receive. And I hope I said that right. But we're going to receive blessings and provision from Daddy this year. So I really felt in the beginning of this year, the one thing that I can share with you that could set you up for success is start erecting little altars of remembrance of the goodness of God, whether it is a kind word, an encouragement, a confirmation of something you've been prayed into, breakthrough, provision, protection, you name it. And teach your kids to be humans who are positioned and that walk in a posture to receive and to look for that blessing and those miracles and be deeply grateful when we experience it. I can't tell you what it does to your entire way of being when this is what you depart from, right? And so I really wanted to bless you guys with something that has blessed me. And again, I'm not clever enough to come up with stuff like this. It's all from the Bible. It's all revelation from Jesus, right? So like all glory to God that he loves us enough that he will, bless us with mechanisms to help us stay grounded, stay humble, hearts to stay soft, and eyes and hearts to be open to what he is doing in our lives. And so my encouragement to you this year is start your own little miracle jar. You might be praying for something, praying for breakthrough in an area, praying for provision. You can put your prayer in there, and then once your prayer has been answered, and it always will be answered, you can take out your prayer and put in the blessing. Like this is what God has done. A friend of mine recently was praying into something deliberately. There were bills that were just coming at her left, right, and center. And we said, put your bills in the miracle jar. Expect them to pay. Right, pay. Jesus has paid this bill. It's been done. Put it in the miracle jar. There were things that weren't working. Put it in the miracle jar. And she has, within 2 weeks, she was able to take that out and be like, done. Done. We're putting the miracle in. So it's a really powerful tool that we can use to make it, because we forget, guys. We just forget. We will go through life walking in the miracles of Jesus, walking in the provision of God, and it'll pass us by. And what a beige life that would be, Instead, we can erect these altars of remembrance in 2026. And so 31st of December, we get to go and taste and see of the goodness of God in our lives in this past year and expect it for 2027. And when 2026 gets rough, and it always will because seasons, we've erected little altars of remembrance that we can go back to taste and see of the goodness of God, that we can hold on to his truth in our season that will get us through that pit experience. And so I really wanted to just share that with you and bless you guys with that little practice that I've been blessed through. Principle number 2, I practice daily written reflection and gratitude. No, that's 3. Principle number 3, I practice daily written reflection and gratitude. And so my way of articulating gratitude is this little miracle jar that Lily and I have, and I really hope that it's encouraged you and it's inspired you, and I can't wait to hear the testimonies that come from erecting little baby altars of gratitude in your life. Until next time, guys, have a really blessed time.